Morning all.
Hi.
Phil and I are going to talk to you today about the several things we planted over the last few weeks, and we're going to do a quick tour of the garden. So here are the sunflowers we planted about 3 weeks ago. We sowed them and we kept them indoors, and you see how well they've grown. They've gone to a beautiful height now, and we will be putting them out shortly.
I think it might have been longer than 3 weeks, but anyway, because it was one of the first things we did. Remember the big seeds you showed? But anyway.
But they're in a nice warm sunny windowsill and they're doing great. And now Phil is going to talk about cucumbers.
Here we have 2 cucumber plants that I bought at the same time as the courgette plants, and they're similar to a courgette, but they produce a cucumber which is like that. But this is the little flower is the basis of the fruits. Now these won't survive outside in this cold weather, so I have to make our next little project. We're going to try and make a little mini greenhouse for them, and we'll show you that at a later stage. So follow us now.
Here we are at the strawberries. You remember we planted these indoors a week or so ago because it was lashing rain. We put them in this beautiful terracotta planter. There's 9 strawberry plants in there, and now we covered them as well with this netting here to prevent the birds from eating them when the strawberries start growing.
So tell us, how many strawberries will each plant produce?
Well, it all depends.
Yeah.
Each, like always before, each flower hopefully will turn into a beautiful red.
See, this
strawberry.
one is starting to grow. Look, the flower dies and then the strawberry starts to grow.
Absolutely.
So we'll have 4 good strawberries there. But the idea with the netting is because the birds will eat them otherwise. So we've made this structure to go over them. So show them how it covers them up.
And I'll keep watering them and feeding them, and then you just cover it up like that so the birds have no chance of eating.
We'll have our own strawberries.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember, we planted 3 of the sunflowers out here in the little bed with the violas underneath. Now we need to do a little bit of weeding there, but other than that, so Colm now has put these are old wire, or they're metal rods that we have. He's put them in and he's tied in the sunflower to support them. So we hope those sunflowers will, if the weather settles down to having really nice bit of heat, they should get quite tall, because it's a very sunny disposition there. So they're doing well.
They're going very well. Remember the video I did a couple of weeks ago showing you my favourite apple tree fully in bloom with beautiful blossoms. As you can see now, the blossoms are now gone, and Phil is now going to explain to you what happens from now.
Okay guys, as you can see, the blossoms have all gone off, but each blossom creates the actual apple. So if you look at an apple, you've got this stalk, which is what it hangs off the tree, but this little piece here is what you see when the blossoms go. Now let me just find one here to show you. So here's one here. That becomes the end of the apple. You can see it looks like this. See the 2 together? And there'll be an apple on each one of those at the end of the season, and they'll be beautiful.
Much tastier than the ones you buy in the shop. Sure. Okay, now we're going to talk about frost damage. We've been having great weather recently, okay? But at night time it gets very, very chilly. And last night it got particularly cold. It got below 0. And look what happened to our lovely potatoes. These are Royal Duke of York. They were really going well, but see how they're looking very sad and wilted, and
they'll probably come back okay though. It's just, if we just have to be careful.
They will come back.
My courgettes also got a hammering over here.
Oh, did they?
They did, unfortunately. Now we had them covered with this, but that wasn't enough protection, and you can see the frost has melted them pretty much, and they were about to produce fruit. Now I don't know, if we cut off those dead leaves we might be able to salvage it, but tonight if there's more frost I'm going to have to cover them over with an extra layer of cloth or some kind of protection for the cold. We normally have, you can buy fleece for the garden, but I just don't have it.
And that's a good example of jumping the gun. Like when we have good weather here, in May, you think, oh great, summer's here. Summer is not here. And because at night it can get very, very frosty, and that's a good example of jumping the gun, planting too soon.
Yeah. Now there's a couple of leaves there that aren't damaged too badly, but I just have to see.
You can see our onions,
the
there.
Aren't affected.
The onions don't get affected by the frost, for whatever reason. Don't ask me why.
Hi again. Remember a couple of weeks ago we did a lot of work on this bed to have our wildflower garden, and Colm did the demo of where he was scattering the peat with the seeds in it. Now you can see that a lot of the seeds have germinated and have started to come up. Now you also see there's a bit of weed in there. We need to probably pull some of that scutch grass that's hard to get out of it.
Yeah,
but there's going to be an abundance of flowers in this bed once the heat comes up and they keep growing. So that's just stage. We'll give you more.
Probably in June. I'd say come June when the heat
Lots
really
of
comes
weeds in
on.
it as well, but anyway.
There are a lot of weeds, but we'll weed them out, keep
But the
them
flowers
going.
will suppress the weeds
So
eventually.
we're quite happy with the wildflower garden, considering it's the first time we've
So
done it.
now this is just to show you how the rocket that I planted is progressing. As you can see, I planted it in 2 straight lines and all the plants are coming on nice. They don't have any impact on slugs or frost doesn't have any impact on them. So they're going grand. And
Onions are the same.
The onions are fine. And this is Colm's planting. He
Now,
did the scattergun approach.
This is an example here now. Phil did it the correct way, nice straight lines. I just sprinkled them on any old way and they're all over the place. Now this is beetroot. Now they're growing terribly well,
Yes.
right? But it does require me to thin them out and maybe to replant them somewhere else. Because I just did that deliberately just to show you the correct way that Phil did, the incorrect way I did. Okay?
And the impact of not thinning them is that the beetroots themselves won't have the space to actually mature into a proper beetroot that could be the size of your fist.
They'll be very small.
Plus you can also, the leaves on the beetroot are edible, so you can, when you thin out very small ones, you can just put them into a salad and eat them and they're very tasty.
Okay, we want to show you the final thing now is, again, more potatoes. You remember we planted these 2 potatoes in this particular container several weeks ago.
That was the first thing we planted back in March. Right?
And you can see the frost damage again, but hopefully they will recover. I'm confident that they will recover, okay? And
plus the potatoes are growing under the ground anyway. So
that's another container I did, but again, hopefully it'll recover. Okay, so that's a quick tour of our garden. So thank you very much. Wash your hands, stay safe, and
be kind to each other.
Be kind to each other.
Ouch!